tornado hits your business, are you going to be able to get help?
And the help means, are you categorized correctly as a business?
As a business, because a lot of times if you're seeking help from, let's say there was a tornado and we needed help from FEMA as a business, or we needed help from the
state
Small
emergency.
Business Association, or from the state of Tennessee, which is where our state, you have to be categorized correctly. And even if you're a sole prop, you have to have all of that lined up correctly. So a lot of sole props go out on their own, they rent a little room somewhere, and they don't change anything else. They're still running all the money through their personal checking account. They have maybe their license for their service, like as an herbalist or a massage therapist or an esthetician, but they didn't get their city license. They didn't set up anything like that. And so they go to get help and they're like,
You're just a person.
You're just a person.
You are not a business.
That's not what we're here for. I can't help you.
Right. The other thing also you need to look into and talk to your accountant about this. And maybe this is when you actually really do need to start thinking, I might need an accountant. Are you going to be an LLC? Are you going to be a single member LLC? Are you going to register yourself in your state? Or are you going to register yourself somewhere like Delaware, which is very business friendly? Or are you going to be an S Corp? Or are you going to be an LLC and an S Corp? So we're an S Corp, and I know you're an LLC S Corp.
Yep.
So, there's different structures for different things to make sense to you. And one of the things that really, I went from sole proprietor to an S Corp, and this is probably my third or fourth S Corp, and I've gone through a few LLCs as well. But one of the things my accountants used to say to me from California was that you want to be an S Corp because that's a completely separate entity from you.
Yes.
And you are, you have business accounts, you have your own EIN number, you have everything that is completely separated from you, and that veil between personal and business is much thicker and stronger.
Yes.
So also think about the IRS do audits. That's part of their job, that's part of their gig, and they will go and probably audit more sole props or single member LLCs who may or may not have their accounts separated correctly.
Well, absolutely.
Versus an S Corp.
They basically warned you about it in the last couple of years when they said they were going to start auditing anything over 600 that came through your Venmo, your Cash App, your PayPal, your Zelle, because they know that people, sole props, were skirting the line by having people Venmo them, Zelle them, and they warned you. They've been straight up about it. They didn't try to hide it. And then, ladies and gentlemen, they hired 100,000 more agents at the IRS.
And their job is not to get your check back to you faster. Their job is to check what you're doing.
And how much that check was for.
Exactly. And and I will say I have an accountant who also does my bookkeeping. Because they make me account for every single line item. And I do, so I don't pay cash for anything if I can help it, because I feel like you can't really you can't document that as well. Even if you get a receipt, you have to scan it into them, etc. But I have a credit card statement, everything runs through my credit card, or I have a checkbook and I write a check for everything. And everything is documented. So, and I think that's the important thing.
And please get a separate account. Do not run things through your personal account. You must have a business account. Pause this, rewind it. You must have a business account.
You do. I mean, even if you have a lemonade stand,
you've got to have a business account.
Because you got to deduct and expense those lemons and the water.
And even
and the
if you were in business, and think back to COVID, and if you weren't in business then, I warn you now, when we got shut down and then everyone was seeking to get help, they weren't helping people who didn't have business accounts. The banks were quite clear. They were like, no, that's a personal account. We cannot assist you. You have to have your business set up as a business.
So I usually call this corporate hygiene.
Yeah.
And it is so important. Your business stuff cannot commingle with your personal stuff. And if you do, you better account for it. So for example, if you went and bought tires for your car, but it's not a business car, but you put it on your business account, you better write a check to pay for that. and have the accountant account for that. It's just little things like that, because they will, I mean, and thank goodness for my accountant, because every 3 months we close off the quarter and we sit and we go through every single penny. Like, nothing is unaccounted for.
Yeah, and it has to be that way. Yeah, you have to drop to the dime where it all went.
Yeah.
Even if you have an Airbnb and you're doing a short-term rental, get a separate account. If you have a long-term rental and you're renting out a house, have a separate account. That money has to go separate, and then you pay it out to wherever it
And
goes.
if you just work as a 1099, get a separate account. Pay yourself, like run payroll on yourself, because as a 1099, you are a business. You are not just a person.
No, you have to be a business.
Right. So think about all of these things and do it. Like, just for your sanity, for your safety.
For your corporate hygiene.